We're here in the studios of YFC Podcast, and we have with us Vlad from FTG. Vlad, introduce yourself to our audience.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vladimir Djunisijevic. Don't worry, easy, it's Vlad. I'm coming on behalf of FTG Gym, based in Sustainable City, where we have been in our new facility for almost 1.5 years. Before that, we used to have a fitness boutique, small in size, for around 1 year.
Awesome.
Fantastic. So, Vlad, you guys are obviously entrepreneurs. We really like the facility. It's a very close-knit community. But the industry can obviously be very, very competitive, right? So as entrepreneurs starting up your own gym, what are some of the challenges that you've faced and how did you overcome them?
So, if you don't mind, I have actually to correct you. I'm not an entrepreneur. Now, I was forced because we are people that are passion driven. Yeah. We love fitness, we love the philosophy about physical activity. But eventually, yes, we did have to learn how to become entrepreneurs in order, like I remember 3 years ago, I was asked certain questions, business related, and I was clueless. So I would say that was actually the challenge, learning as you go. When you are restricted in terms of funds, you are just passionate, you know your core, you have your bread and butter, and all of a sudden you have to explore new fields, facing new challenges, and they are endless. Like I just can say that opening new facility, at least we were wrong with 100% extra. I mean, like these are, I know, for example, for fact, let's say when one of those construction companies, when they forecast their expenses for building, if they are wrong for 15%, they're happy. And someone who, as us, like doing it for the first time, I think maybe even 100% being wrong, still we should be happy with different approvals, etc., etc., etc. So that's all bureaucracy and our lack of experience. But now we know for the next one. Oh, yeah, we learned the lesson.
So why specifically Sustainable City?
Yeah.
All right. So back in 2016, I will try to be as short as possible. Was introduced the community, fell in love immediately. Was working that time for one royal family, and saw an opportunity also as the whole concept when it gets to facilities. Like they got jogging track, they got fitness stations along the jogging track, they got cycling track around the community, they got horse riding track around the community.
So it's the extended infrastructure that
exactly. So their vision is something like within the community there is no. It's completely traffic free. Like you don't have cars within the community, so you either walk, you cycle, or if you are carrying groceries or something, you still can borrow buggies that are available to all the residents. Everything is based on that kind of physical activity. As human beings, as we all know, that's the reason why we are in this industry. We need to be physically active. And that community completely suited my philosophy, or actually anyone's philosophy that is in this industry. So I started there as a freelancer. There was no community gym at that time. I had my equipment that I was bringing out to one of the fitness stations, doing sessions one-on-one, like personal trainings, and using football pitch for boot camps, group classes. Then eventually community gym was opened. It made things easier in terms of obviously accommodating people, or like before that I would be depending on weather, like if there is a sandstorm or rain, it was a bit challenging. So with having community gym was easier to train residents. Then eventually they opened a physiotherapy clinic with a really good gym. So then I was able to accommodate people that are not residents coming to meet along with residents. Got to a point where demand was really high. It was all personal recommendation that I'm really grateful for. And then obviously it happened that there was obvious need for expanding in terms of having to obviously get on board people that got same philosophy, same approach. We decided to open fitness boutique that was meant to accommodate 3 personal training at the same time, or 1 group class, up to 12 people depending on kind of class. Unfortunately, that's when COVID struck during our fit out period.
So you did not only have the challenge of having to be forced to become an entrepreneur, you also at the same time that you opened and did 100% wrong, you also had like, oh, and now it's COVID, by the way.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm really grateful every time I have to step out of comfort zone. The only thing that can help us to progress in our life, no matter what, is stepping out of comfort zone. So in this sense was like middle of fit out, corona stroke, everything is lifted, we can operate, but we lost more than 90% of business. We had to start from scratch. All of a sudden, people are scared finance-wise, they are scared health-wise. It's really difficult. That space all of a sudden is small to them. So again, we need to come up with a solution. There is demand that is out of my scope personally, when it gets to different types of, let's say, group classes, etc. So we needed to expand, to introduce new. So as I said, in the first smaller place, we were able to provide one service at a time, which was meant to be, as I said, either personal training or originally we planned for 2 group classes per month. But then due to demand, we got to 132 group classes per month instead of original planned 8. We introduced kids classes. It became really, really popular because, again, I can talk about this for really long. For example, when it gets to kids, I really, it's sad that how much parents don't know what is meant for their kids, what is good thing for their kids to do. So then we introduce classes like such as Pilates, etc., strength, and even my colleague, my partner, Ben, he invented something called FTG Mix. That's a combination of strength, high-intensity interval training, or having some parts of circuits.
I think a lot of the kids of this age lack in endurance.
They're lacking
because they are so glued to their personal devices, and
100%.
iPad or YouTube is their getaway to keep the child quiet here, sit with something. They don't go out. I mean, it's like I remember in my days, I would have it would be a punishment if my parents said, "You're not going down to play today."
Yeah,
it was.
Like
I couldn't go for my basketball game.
Exactly.
That was the worst punishment. Now the best punishment is like, okay, I'm taking away your phone, and they would like.
And really, people love it. I swear to God, when my kids misbehave, I will tell them, now you have to watch YouTube for 15 minutes to earn it. Just do it. This reverse psychology is really amazing. They need to behave in order to go for a tennis lesson. Or there is something, they call it, one of our colleagues, he calls it Ninja Kids on behalf of FTG. They need to earn, but just do this. Kids see what is punishment, what is treat. Usually what parents do at the moment would be, you know what, if you go half an hour outside to play, I will give you tablet for 1 hour. Why don't you go with kids like, please sit on tablet for 15 minutes and I will let you go to play. Kids immediately see what is treat, what is punishment. So just that reverse psychology works amazing with kids. The fact is that most of the time we don't have family, like brother family here with us. When it gets to kids, then the neighbors are busy. So when it gets to kids, most of the families, they need to have nannies. Nannies here are a bit scared, or they don't care that much, right? Because there is always that kind of fear, what if my boss doesn't like it? As a parent, you always want the best for your kid, but you can't keep it under what we call it glass bell. Like you can't just constantly, we need to face challenges at early age. Like if we depend on our parents, that's how we are going to grow whole our life. We will be expecting them to support us. And kids learn in that early age. Like one of the biggest mistakes in general, it's always due to lack of knowledge. And parents should not even know these things. That's why there are people from our field that should explain. One of the most common mistakes is that parents put their son at age of 6 into football, expecting that kid to be Messi just because started training early. No, but this is the fact. Parents do not understand that there is a period, a sensitive period between age of 3 and 14 where we develop different motor skills.
Yes.
So this is very essential.
And
so
each child's development is different as well.
100%.
It's not like you can say at 9, this is what to expect.
There
at
are,
10, this is what to expect. Every
that's
child is different.
100%. But so kid is, for example, more likely to become a good basketball player if it starts focusing, let's say, on basketball at the age of 11 or 12, but before that goes to gymnastics or martial arts. In general, kids are meant to be monkeys. And that's the fact. Like, no one can tell me that I'm wrong.
I've never heard that expression.
I will justify it. I will justify it.
I think
So,
my,
I like that.
my sister will be happy to know that.
I was
Because
just
her son
going
is
to
quite
say-
a monkey.
I'm going to do that when I get home tonight. I'm going to tell my 8-year-old, I'm going to go like, listen, you should be behaving like a monkey.
I wanted, so basically, unfortunately, in this area, due to weather and due to lack of trees, as human beings, there is a reason why latissimus dorsi, or well known as lats, muscle is the widest muscle of our body. Long ago, we were meant a lot to climb trees, and our anatomy proves that. So kids in this country, they're unable to climb trees.
Yeah.
This is one of the variety of other stuff that should be done. Flips, going, crawling, jumping, right? So, for example, when it gets to kids' activities, some of the things that we give them, they enjoy, they really like it, but is really beneficial. Is like we would put, let's say, a rope from one side to the other of monkey bars. They will be going upside down, or climbing rope, or pushing, pulling sandbags. Plenty of activities. This is what healthy kids should be doing.
Yes.
Variety of things. And then eventually, when most of the motor skills are developed or already developed, now a kid is ready to go into some, let's say, more specific sport. Apart, again, lack of knowledge, sports such as tennis, ice hockey, golf, anything where equipment is a limb extension. Those sports should be started earlier, but still, if possible, combined with some other activities. Because if you, for example, ask an adult, 20 or 25, 40, doesn't matter, let's say to play tennis, you will always find that person hitting from here, because we build perception at early age. So already developed person will expect that farthest point from body is our palm. So subconsciously he will position himself to hit the ball as if he was hitting with his palm. So then all of a sudden there is something longer. That's why they end up hitting, for example, from here. Whereas if
That's actually
kids-
very interesting.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I've
haven't
seen
thought about it like that, but you're
Oh,
right.
there is
If
so
you
many.
watch young
Yeah.
players,
So, for example, again, another problem due to lack of knowledge, maybe, or just due to high expectations. Again, when parents put their kid at the age of 3, let's say into tennis, they immediately expect their kid to be hitting forehands, backhands, perfect technique. And then now coaches that have knowledge, now they're stuck with parents who are with high expectations, or if they don't have a clue, they will be doing, no, that kid is supposed to build this perception, right? So it should be carrying the ball on top of the racket, playing hockey, so just getting that feeling that there is something further from their palm.
Yes.
Even just playing, having fun. And this is what kids really enjoy. Like, they're not going immediately to go into technique. They just need to build this.
But that's another thing here is parents who do put also kids, I don't say everyone, but a majority of them get very competitive.
Yeah.
Like they want their child to perform, and it's about winning. It's about
Oh my word!
that.
Do you
Again,
know when
parents-
when I was still a teacher years ago now, right? That was the one thing that was always a challenge. It's not the kids playing on the field. It's not having the kids employing the strategy that you put out there before the time. It's managing the parents' expectations on the side of the field, right?
Unfortunately,
And-
parents, without knowing, they are biggest enemies to their kids.
That's very true. That's
100%.
very true, right?
Yeah.
But I also think, just in terms of where we are specifically in this region, I think we face an additional challenge, which is that we have the weather, right? Like in summer, you can't tell the child, all right, listen, can you go out and play outside for half an hour or an hour, or let's go and play ball outside for an hour, right? Like right now, I can take my son and we can go and play football. And I just let him play. I'm not trying to teach him any skills. I'm just letting him enjoy running with the ball. But when it comes to summer, you can't do that. And I think parents almost use that as an excuse to stop pushing the activity.
Yeah.
Whereas there are so many places like
That's what I
FPG
was about-
that you can go to and
Was
say,
about
right,
to point
let's
out,
keep that
there
activity
is
going.
So many places. We are blessed to live, obviously, in this part of the world where they have invested, obviously aware of all of those challenges that can be faced due to weather, and they have developed a lot of facility. I don't think there is any place in the world like this with so many varieties. Like you got, I don't know, from place with trampolines, whatever, ninja warriors, but you have it.
I think this
You have it.
Dubai has, and this nation rather, I would say, UAE as a whole, has invested a lot in developing such kind of infrastructure for the community.
They are really
Which
smart
not everybody
people.
knows
We are
about.
Grateful for.
I think that is part of the problem.
And that should be something which should be the next on our app, I think.
Yeah.
We should
Making
be-
people aware of
you're right,
facilities.
yeah.
yeah.
Now we're talking
Entertainment
gyms,
zones
we're
and-
talking about studios. I think next would be, functional facilities like this.
Exactly.
I would like just to go back to the topic where everything comes from childhood. Like, when you
Yeah.
go to psychiatrists, they will lay you down on couch and say, okay, so tell me about your father when you were 3. So, like,
Are we busy with a session like that now?
one of the challenges, like, parents subconsciously, they want their kids always win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think doing them favor. Unfortunately, as I tell my kids, when you win, you just celebrate. When you lose, you analyze. So we need to lose in order to be aware where we can improve.
Yeah.
If you are winning, then you think you're on top of the world, you won't be analyzing.
Yes.
Same thing, unfortunately, big issue. When a kid comes from school, parents don't, most of the time, they ask, what mark did you get? What grade did you get?
Yeah.
Why instead you ask what new have you learned? Because it's same with physical activity. If we study for knowledge, marks, grades will follow. Same is with physical activity. One of the biggest issues is people are focused on results.
Yeah.
So they find it as destination. As we all know, it's a journey. So if you focus on that journey, results will come. So this is why people most of the time give up. And again, another thing, this is actually whole philosophy. We can talk about past, why certain people were going to gym. Now reality is everyone needs to be physically active. We are not talking about aesthetics. Everyone promises 6 packs and stuff. Can we live without 6 packs? Yes, we can live without 6 packs.
Yeah.
Can we live being physically inactive? We cannot.
cannot.
We are like sharks. Just sharks, if they stop moving, they die instantly. For us, lack of physical activity is illness of 21st, 22nd century.
Yeah.
We just are unaware, like obesity, high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. These are responses of our body to lack of physical activity. Our body does not know what to do when it's physically inactive. Like check, for example, I don't know, in 70s, check pictures from the beach. Everyone is fit because they were not pampered. Not everything was one touch away. They had to go get their groceries. They had to be physically active.
And you're touching on a very important point there. And I had this conversation actually in the week. Part of the reason why we are so passionate, right, at YFC about pushing people just to be active and rewarding them with Y coins just for being active is because our lifestyle, and there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, we can't change the lifestyle. We can't change the advancement and future progression, right?
Yeah.
But it has become where person now is still saying, oh, I don't have time to go and work out, right? He's not even going to the shop anymore and walking up and down the aisle and doing the traveling time. He's sitting at home going like, oh, okay, I need some deodorant and I need some meat and I need some, right? So he's actually doing it there. So what would have taken maybe 2 hours is now taking 20 minutes. So you have the time, but you're not prioritizing it anymore because our lifestyle has just become too easy.
Huge,
And
huge.
I would say a major percentage of the general public has a mentality when you tell them go to a gym, it means you're going to build your body.
Yes.
It's bodybuilding. That's the mentality. Gym is bodybuilding. That's how most of them would. I don't want to build my body. So you're going there. So I keep pushing with our stuff. That's why we run these kind of competitions internally, getting them like, we'll give you free access. No, I don't need the free access because I don't want to build my body.
Again, the problem comes from misunderstanding. There is so many myths. There is so much. People don't understand their body. They don't know how does it function. They don't understand physiology, anatomy, etc.
Yeah.
So when human beings, when they don't know the answer to questions, they will come up with something that it makes sense to them, right? Where that sweat is melted fat, etc.
Yeah.
But again, what you have said is exactly where I was trying to get to is because it's falsely advertised.
Yeah.
Like, here's a free tip to all of my colleagues out there. Person is more, and actually this is not me, this is what I have learned from one really great guy, that people would rather do something to avoid pain than to buy pleasure. Like, for example, you are more likely to go to dentist when you see that toothache is already there, or you see it actually, it's coming, rather than just going and whitening your teeth. Same is in our business. Because they're constantly advertising that 6-pack. As I said, we can live without 6-pack. But if you explain, if you educate them, it's all about educating parents or educating, obviously, kids in schools, exactly from the very beginning. It's not a destination, it's a journey. So if you explain to them that they will be preventing from different diseases, because one of the best sentences that I have learned, it was, I think, very beginning of university, Faculty of Sport and Physical Education, was physical activity can replace thousands of medications. There is no
Yes.
single medication that can,
prevention is always better than cure.
replace physical activity.
Yeah.
So if they understand that they will be there for their children or grandchildren, being able longer to play with them, to stay with them, to be there for them, rather than just thinking about aesthetics. Because before, like you had in 30, 40 years ago, people that were going to gym, they were going for aesthetic purposes.
Yeah.
That was like, because we were already doing enough chores
Because your
to keep us
physical
healthy.
activity was always,
Exactly.
always there.
You didn't
had-
have maids. You had to
Exactly.
clean yourself. You had to wash your car yourself. Now
to
you
fix
drive
your
in
rooftop.
and you can sit and you can browse your Instagram while the car gets washed, right?
Exactly.
So our activity is decreasing. We cannot fight technology, but I think it is important that we
should
employ
implement
it. Yeah, we
exactly. We
implement it,
take the
evolve with it.
technology and use it, right? But I also think that a lot of times people fear going to the gym because they see a machine and they go,
Stereotypes.
I don't know how to use it, right?
Stereotypes.
Exactly. Or they see a leg press and they go like, ooh, you know, oh no, I don't want to do that. So with FTG, which is functional training gym, right? So you focus on functional training.
That's right.
So tell us, what is the difference between going for a functional workout versus going to a conventional commercial gym?
That's really
with
important
selectorized
for our
machines?
audience to know.
Yes. So that's exactly like, again, somehow as if I knew what questions you guys are going to ask me. So that's exactly, again, where I was trying to come from. So like 30, 40 years ago, you had people that were going to gym, even though they already had enough physical activity, but they wanted to improve something.
Yeah.
Their aesthetics or trying to cover something. It could be like they were, like for example, I started going to gym because I was extremely skinny. And that was my reason. I got a job as a lifeguard, and I was like, people won't trust me. Like I should put some asthma. So people that time, they started for some reason.
Yeah.
Now people need to go either to prevent or to already treat certain condition. So they are asked even by doctors or by their spouses, etc.
So now it's almost become reactive
Exactly.
instead of
But
proactive.
I mean, I'm a living example. If I miss my physical activities for 2-3 days straight, I start to feel the pain.
Yeah.
And because of my condition, and that's a proven thing. Over the years I've seen it.
But this is so like where I was coming, is that time those people that were going to gym, you had like what, up to 1% maximum people that were going to gym. Those were people that they either thought they know what they're doing, or they had friends who thought they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So reality was that those people were getting injured big time, because even science was not that much into human body, or people just in general, like mainly it was athletes that were going to gym rather than people just with normal jobs. So since they were getting injured big time, fitness industry went that way where they started inventing machines that will prevent injuries, right?
Yeah.
So machines that tell you exactly what kind of movement you need to do instead of like obviously taking any risk. The reality is, yes, machines kind of put injuries to minimum, but in reality, machines don't help us engaging our core, right? So
Yes.
main philosophy, so now as we said, like now you have 90% of people that are
I
going
think
to
we
the
need to
gym.
just expand for us because, I mean, for us,
Yeah.
we're in the industry, we understand what you're saying, right? But for the average person that hasn't known that, what we're referring to is like isolation, right? So if you're doing a leg
Ah, right,
raise,
so yeah, you're right.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
you're doing this all, but nobody walks like that. Unless you're in the Chinese army and you're busy doing a march, you don't walk like
Yeah.
that, right? So why are you practicing it like
Exactly what I try always to explain to, like, we are supposed to now, when we are trying to live healthy lifestyle, we are supposed to go back and then think what our ancestors used to do. Our ancestors used to build shelters, to climb trees, to go hunting, to grow crops, to look after domestic animals. Like these were our daily chores. Chop wood, prepare for fireplace. So in general, when it gets to functional training, we are trying as much as possible to replicate. So when it gets to functional training, it is compound exercises, it is multiple joint exercises. It doesn't mean that we won't be. Yes, we will still be doing, especially for those that want to also have a combination of both for aesthetics. But as I said, like our ancestor did not sit there on machine doing biceps curl. But you still can do biceps curl if you want to kind of maximize your growth of your biceps. But still, when it gets to function, you would rather do something multiple joints, something that will be engaging both your back muscles, shoulder, along with your biceps, etc. But there is always
the married man will be practicing picking up a box by squatting and picking up and
there
putting
you go.
down.
There you go. Yes.
Whereas the single guy will be sitting and doing bicep curls.
Depending
One
on
is for
on your
function
priorities.
and the other one is for form.
But again, as you like, for example, as you mentioned that one, yes, for example, ball slams would replicate, for example, what would look like chopping wood.
Yeah.
Right, etc., etc. Like one of my favorite stories is, like I think it was 80s, Canadian Ice Hockey League, and all of a sudden there was a team that was unbeatable. They were so amazing in terms of strength conditioning, and their sessions were kind of forbidden to public, like no one could access their strength conditioning training. So one journalist managed to sneak in. So basically what they were doing is they were doing just replicating daily chores. Like they had shovel and pile of sand, they had real woods to chop, etc. So they were doing just something that would replicate. And this is when they invented that piece of equipment called Viper. That can, but again, things can be done also still with cables, dumbbells, sandbags. So they proved the point. They went back to our ancestors, what we are meant to do.
Yes. So that's functional training.
Yeah. It is really, really kind of broad topic, but just for you guys actually, listeners and viewers to understand, is we are trying to replicate in terms of physical activity what we are meant to do. As human beings, it is a compound workout. It is used mainly, we use cables, barbells, dumbbells, TRX, Y-bells, Swiss ball, Bosu ball.
Oh, I love a Y-bell. I love a Y-bell. It is such a versatile piece of equipment. So versatile.
On another note, like we do still have few machines in our gym, but those machines that we use in the gym are machines that can help us improve or overcome certain plateaus. And one of the worst things, like I know this sounds stupid, I will keep trying to explain to my clients, one of our biggest enemies is a toilet bowl. And sounds funny, but toilet bowl is the reason.
We just both look at each other. What?
So, and it's unfortunately, but it's fact. Okay, we got seats that are our enemies, car seats, but toilet bowl sounds funny, but as human beings, we are meant to go to nature and do it in deep squat. Like just watch your kids when they play. When they're little ones, they always play in deep squat. As we age, we become lazy because we lose mobility in our ankles and we stop using our glute muscles, and glutes are biggest support of our core. Weak glutes would very often lead to issues with pelvic or hips, but low back pain, etc. So we lose mobility because of toilet bowl and we stop using glutes. So this is another thing. So when we are like using machines, there will be mainly for these purposes to, if we can improve somehow either mobility or overcome some plateaus. And if there is anything like, for example, exactly the exercise that you were showing earlier, if there is any kind of rehab done after physiotherapy for a knee, for example, ACL, etc., etc., we will still use a little bit of leg extension, leg curl, but obviously any kind of properly done lunges, squats, deadlifts, all the varieties are way more beneficial for us because we are using more muscles getting involved, more joints. We need to engage our core. If we are doing it properly, we will be engaging our glutes. Glutes are obviously huge muscle volume-wise. Like we got three muscles there, maximus, medius, and minimus. And it is very important muscle that unfortunately is hardly used in daily lifestyle because we are too pampered and becoming too lazy.
And again, it comes back to human laziness, right?
It is.
So tell us, what can we expect in the future from FTG? I mean, the last time that we spoke, you had a huge amount of different things going on and you had massive plans. Share with us a little bit of inside info. Where's FTG going?
Commodity that you can afford when you have people around you that are properly educated, that you can rely on. And you know, no matter what, like we had some really, really big, we have big companies, big names out there, for example, that are using our services for corporate well-being. Big companies understand the importance of physical activity for their employees, which is actually proven. Like long time ago, smart people did research and they realized, and this is also the answer when people say they don't have enough time to exercise. $1 invested into physical activity of employees gets back 8 times. That means that employees need less to sleep, and they're fully recovered due to achieving REM phase of sleep, the only phase that can fully recover us mentally and physically. They need less sleep. They have more energy because they're physically active, obviously, and that's proper sleep that recovers us. Then they are claiming less sick leaves. Their insurance is cheaper. They're more proactive, like what usually would be taking them 8 hours to complete certain tasks. All of a sudden, they need only 5.5 hours. Better customer service, etc., etc. So there is obviously multiple benefits, and this is where they can now save time and then go and keep being physically active. Yeah. So yeah, those companies have recognized the importance, so they're hiring us. We would even go to the offices, use chairs, because office job would create aches in shoulders, neck, low back. So we help them using just their office chairs as piece of equipment, doing certain exercises that can either prevent or help them treating these aches. Another thing that I'm really proud of and excited, and I'm sure that parents actually have already recognized this. We help with birthday parties. We do not organize them necessarily, like they can be some other company, but we are in charge of physical activity. With all the respect to clowns and magicians, I still want them to be part of it, right? But our kids already sit enough.
Yeah.
So yes, they still should be having magician or clown for part of the time, but main part should be activity, like where we organize mini boot camps, fun games, obstacle course. So kids are doing something, kids get tired, parents are happy, they sleep better. But this is something very, very essential.
That's a great sales perspective.
But this is the fact. People, in fact, say that I'm a great salesperson just because I'm not a salesperson.
Yeah.
I know, like, that's my passion, that's what I love, that's what I have studied all my life, and obviously you will never be able to learn everything, but as long as you keep looking for new answers and exercise, but there is no shortcut.
Yeah.
The philosophy is the same, it's just different approach. And thanks to people that look for shortcuts, certain industries will profit, but reality is we need to be physically active on a daily basis for a certain amount of time, and there is nothing that can replace it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. Well, Vlad, it was an absolute pleasure
Likewise.
having you on our
Thank
show.
you so much, guys, for
Very
inviting me.
interesting topic for our audience, and
I hope,
there's lots
I
that
hope
can
at
take back
least a
from
little
this.
bit, but this is really broad topic.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure 3 of us can be talking about.
Oh no, we would be sitting here all day long. We'd be sitting here all day long. But yeah, so thank you very much. Obviously, FTG is available on the YFC app. You can go on the map, you can check and see where it is. Go visit it. We really like the facility. We want you to go out there and support a gym that really, really does a lot for the community. So thank you very much.
And that's one good point. Sorry, the last one. One of our goals was to create a community.
Yeah.
So we are based in community, but our clients are not from the community. They come from all over Dubai, but they feel like they belong somewhere.
There you go. Go to a place where you can
seems
belong.
like we are achieving our goals. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. Thank you so much for having us on your platform, and looking forward to coming up with more and more new stuff and helping each other for more synergy.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Likewise.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. It was great having Vlad here. If you have any questions for FTG, put it down in the comments, and we'll put it through to FTG. It's available on the YFC app.
Subscribe, like, and follow for more interesting insight from our special guests over the next few seasons.
It was a special time for myself. Thank you so much.